So you super working say something I'm back for it to it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you always watch for video.
When it comes to crash outs, few can compare to the one and only Tay-k, who not only crashed the goat, he did the race. Just recently, the 24-year-old was sentenced to
That kid is
forever.
done.
Well, not literally, but by the time he's eligible for parole, he'll either be dead or close to it. And in this video, we're going to break down Tay-k's infamous case, along with the series of unfortunate events that left the 16-year-old in a cell responsible for 2 murders. Kevin Beverly, who went by the name KD, was a Compton Crip, while Jolena McIntyre, who went by the name Nina, was a Long Beach Crip. The two would meet in high school in the early 90s, and in the year 2000 would have a baby named Tamor McIntyre, who would later be known as Tay-k. His father would wind up in prison, while
That's
his
crazy.
mother was in and out of jail.
I never knew that. I thought he was from like a whole different
Tay-k
city,
would
bro.
grow up in and out of foster care, where he'd suffer abuse along with his siblings. He'd be returned to his mother, only to be taken away again as she went back to jail. This cycle would continue as Tay-k moved from Long Beach, California to Las Vegas, Nevada. His mother would be arrested again, finding herself in a new jail, while Tay-k in a new home. It wasn't until his father's release from prison that his father would move the family.
That's crazy, man. Like you supposed to be living for your kid. Forget everything else. Everything else is irrelevant. Like how people say your life is over and you gotta live for the kid. It's supposed to be in that aspect, but your life isn't necessarily over. You feel me? Like you still have a life, but you can still have to make sure you live good enough to where your kid don't have to struggle, don't have to go through the thing that you went through as a kid. That'd be the whole purpose, bro. Like it'd be sad. Like I see it sometimes, and then sometimes, even though we don't know her personal situation, but sometimes you don't. For the most part, sometimes when a female has a kid, bro, they will wise completely up, get on the straight and narrow, stop hanging out, stop fighting, cutting off toxic dudes, like on they ish. And sometimes it's crazy, bro. Like how, like mind you, we don't know her personal life, we don't know what she was doing, but if it was ways to prevent you from going to jail, knowing that if you going to jail, that means your son is in a bad predicament, you should have been doing that. That's why I always, bro, to smoke like this, man, bro. I wish a lot more kids or people had a mom like my mom, bro. Cause my mom wasn't going for that, bro, for sure.
Down
What
to
she gonna do?
Arlington,
What she gotta do
Texas.
to make sure you got a good
Reunited
life,
with
bro.
his father,
And that's why I have the life
relocated to a
I
more
have now.
suburban
It ain't
environment,
perfect, but hey,
you'd think
it's
Tay-k
okay.
would finally have a chance to thrive now that his family was back together. But by now, Tay-k was claiming his mother's set, Baby Insane Crip. Tay-k wasn't old enough to have been put onto the set in Long Beach, meaning he wasn't officially jumped in. But who could tell Tay-k he wasn't official? He came from a Crip family, with both parents still actively banging.
That's crazy. This whole time, I don't know why I never truly thought about where he was from, like city wise. But I never thought Cali. I thought like if anything, Indianapolis or something, like somewhere far out. I never thought Cali, LA, Long Beach. I never thought none of that. That's crazy.
In Texas, Tay-k would take up an interest in music before
Or
finding
Texas,
himself
yeah.
wanting to become a rapper. Tay-k would become a member of Daytona Boys, a rap group with his 2 friends, Eric Johnson, who went by the name Santana Sage, and Jalen Bell, who went by the name Pimpies. Building up a local fan base, things took a turn for the Daytona Boys in 2016. 20-year-old Sarah was the designated driver for her friends on New Year's Eve. She attended the University of North Texas and was enrolled in the radio, television, and film program. Pulling up to a stoplight, another vehicle pulled up alongside hers. The other vehicle contained multiple males who began making derogatory comments to Sarah and the other females in her vehicle. A male in Sarah's car defended the females, and that's when gunshots rang out.
Wow.
Sarah was shot in the head, lost control of the vehicle, and hit another car before crashing into a pole.
Damn.
Tay-k, who was only 15 years old at the time, was later identified as being in the suspect vehicle. This would be the first murder he'd be connected to, but he'd never face charges. Instead, a 21-year-old Marine named Eric Johnson was taken into custody at his base and
That's crazy.
later
I never knew
arrested
this.
for killing Sarah.
I never knew about this story.
Senseless and tragic.
There are so many things Clay and Gloria Muchlechner could talk about right now.
Couldn't go to sleep. All I could think about was her.
That's crazy because if you're a Marine, bro, one, you know how to use it. Two, you know the big difference between right and wrong. Because somebody said something, bro. He probably told y'all, shut the F up, shut y'all black, whatever he said. It still didn't justify what y'all did. Like, again, like, bro, like, not saying this world, like, in this world, like, it's nothing to cause somebody, to do that. There are certain situations. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, somebody take it. You know what I mean? I can't say certain words, but I could say grape. Like that, yeah, you deserve that, bro. You deserve that. You deserve it. Yeah. Put him in with a gun line. Get that person up out of here. But because they said something smart to you, bro, you don't knock it off.
And this just horrible thing that happened to her, she did not deserve this.
But they say Sarah would want them to smile. Hers was infectious.
She's never met a stranger. She was always nice to people. She would talk with them.
Just like her grandpa Bloss.
And no matter what, think of what they had, not what they lost.
We're all going to miss her. And some people don't get to have their kids 20 years, so we have to be blessed with what we've had with her, time spent.
Jurors found Eric Johnson guilty of shooting Sarah Muchlechner on New Year's Day back in 2016. The Denton County District Attorney confirmed on Twitter that Johnson will be eligible for parole based on the sentence after serving 22 years of the 44 I mentioned. The jury could have sent him to prison for life.
6 months later, Tay-k would make a decision that would forever alter his life. 17-year-old Zachary Bello and 21-year-old Ethan Walker were roommates in Mansfield, Texas.
You're going to be 42,
Zach's
bro,
girlfriend
when you get
believed
out.
the two were selling drugs and decided to plan a robbery on her own boyfriend. Word would get to 16-year-old Tay-k, who then recruited a team to get the job done. 3 girls went to the house, all aware of what was about to happen. As they spent time with the 2 roommates, they unlocked the doors to the house and the 4 robbers let themselves in. Over the next few minutes, Zach
That's why I do not invite people over to my house, dog.
While Ethan was shot in the chest.
What? Come on, where?
Ground, gasping for air.
Not here.
Ethan would later die, and Zach knew he was set up by the girls because when the robbers walked in, the girls just got up and walked out, not even acting scared or surprised. But nobody planned for a double shooting or for Ethan to die. Police would quickly identify everyone involved, with Tay-k being arrested at only 16 for participating.
I ain't gonna lie, in today's time, when people be like, all right, they set up a leg, right? And a tootie was brought. They didn't expect nobody to get hit. How? Everybody ain't just going for you giving to get themselves up, bro. Even though you should in that moment, because hey, it's materialistic. You can go replace it, but not everybody wants to go through that. That's still the hurtful feeling. I still remember when I was a kid, bro, and the nigga stole my bike. I still remember the day like it was yesterday. It still hurt my feelings, bro. Like that nigga, like he really stole my bike. I was a kid. It wasn't even my bike. It was my homie's bike. And I still regret that day. Like, nigga, like, when it comes to that, bro, when it comes to robbery, bro, you gotta think that that's possible. That's why me personally, like, I don't do licks, bro. I go to work, 9 to 5, YouTube, bro. I'm a hustle for mine. But even then, I had my super broke day. Trust me, I would have got you. I would have got myself probably. Like for real, I was that broke. But like nigga, one thing for sure I would never do is go in a nigga house. I ain't doing that one, bro, because you might not walk up out of there.
the home invasion robbery turned murder.
I ain't going to no house,
Released
boy.
on house
Hell
arrest,
to the no.
Tay-k would cut off his ankle monitor and go on the run. A month later, 23-year-old Mark Saldivar was shot and killed in a Chick-fil-A parking lot.
New on the night beat, one man found dead in the middle of a parking lot of a North Side fast food restaurant following a shooting. As Pilar Arias reports tonight, police say the car the victim was riding in may also be the same vehicle the suspects took off in.
The parking lot of a Chick-fil-A turned crime scene. The restaurant closed for business like it usually is on Sundays. But that didn't stop witnesses and spectators from gathering to figure out what happened at the lot just across from North Star Mall early this evening.
So this is a shopping center. There were quite a few people out here, and the car drove through like everybody else, and as soon as they heard the noise, they all started looking.
Police now trying to find out how this all happened. Their sights set on a black four-door car. They say
I did see another video on this one, bro. I did a reaction video to it too. It's on my other channel, bro, King Reacts. But for this part, when they unalived the dude, and this moment, now mind you, we don't know 100%. Like, hey, I'm not going to say this like a guaranteed fact, but from the story, they said they was in a parking lot. They was I guess they they pulled the pistols out on him. I don't know if they hit him or not, but he got out the car. He somehow he got out the car. He ended up on the hood of the car. Bro, if somebody is trying to harm you, rob you, do anything that you don't want to be done to you, you have the chance to get out of the car. Why wouldn't you run away from the car? Like that's the only thing that confused, because like they said he got on the hood of the car, and then they unalived him right there. That was confusing as hell. Like why would you get on the hood of the car if somebody tried to cause you any type of harm? Get up out of there if you have the chance. Especially if you had the chance to get on the hood, that means you probably had a chance to get up out of there. I would have took that chance to get up out of there versus getting on the hood.
the victim was riding in the car along with several other people police are now looking for. They had pulled in here just before 5:30. As far as investigators know at this point, the man was shot outside the vehicle, but they don't know what made him want to get out.
Investigators would learn Tay-k and others picked up the photographer for a photo shoot at a local mall. While in the vehicle, Tay-k and one of the other suspects pulled out guns, pistol whipped Mark, and took his backpack containing his equipment. Mark was forced out of the car, tried to get back in, and desperately jumped on the hood.
See?
That's when Tay-k leaned out of the window and shot him dead.
See? Again, everybody don't want to be robbed. That's why he still was there. But in this moment, bro, they pistol whipped you. I'm running. Bro, you don't have what they have. It's more of them than you. One. They hitting you with pistols. Two. They got your stuff. Three. I'm out of here. Why were you standing right there? Why would you get on, like, you get on the hood was gonna make them say, all right, never mind, here go your bag? That's a good scenario, but that's a scenario when no pistol was involved. One person, your friend, y'all just got into it. I'm taking your backpack. You can't have it. That's that type of scenario. This scenario is not that.
2 months later, on June 30th, 2017, Tay-k would drop his infamous song "The Race," and that same day, he'd be captured by U.S.
I don't say none of that to blame the victim. I'm just saying he should have left. He should have tried to leave if he had a chance, bro. Again, it's materialistic, especially for him. You're a civilian. Call the law. You know who they are. Call the police. You know who they are. You're a civilian. You ain't no gangster.
Tay-k was now viral after dropping a song.
I can't call the law thing. It's for the want to be gangster. Yeah, to them. You a civilian. Call the law.
The song would reach number 44 on the Hot 100 Billboard chart and currently sits at 251 million views on YouTube. But Tay-k would never get to perform his hit song.
And he ain't getting a dime of that, probably.
he'd only hear about it through jail calls and jail visits. Tay-k would eventually be found guilty for his role in the home invasion murder of Ethan Walker. While he wasn't the shooter, the fact that he recruited the shooter would leave him with a 55-year prison sentence. Fast forward to 2025, Tay-k would be sentenced to an additional 80 years in prison.
Like somebody tried to slice him.
Mark.
Your punishment is to be assessed at 80 years in the prison. I don't know where your mom is. Don't know where your father is. I know that you had a rough childhood. And I do know that these offenses occurred when you were very young. And I do realize that while this is a lot of time, and I tell people all the time, any time that you do in custody is a lot of time. But by that same token, you're still alive. And what the state has said is true. You're still alive. You can still better yourself. If you end up in prison for the rest of your life, you're still alive. You still can improve yourself. Your family can still visit you. But the complainant in this case is deceased.
24-year-old Tay-k is
I was wondering where she was
total
going
of
with that. Like, what are you talking
135
about?
years in Texas State Prison. His sentencing will be run concurrent, meaning his 55-year sentence has pretty much been overruled by his 80-year sentence. Under Texas law, he'll be eligible for parole in his 60s. Things have already been rough for him, judging by the scar on the side of his neck.
I think more likely, again, laws are always changing. Things are always happening. So therefore, he said 60, even though it's still, the number I'm still going to say it still ain't that great, but I say like 40, 45, 45.
Appears to be a slash from a razor. While his crimes can't be minimized, his life must be analyzed. Tay-k was born to two gangbanging parents, raised in and out of foster care, and became a product of his parental influence. At only 16, far from mentally developed, he made choices that have essentially ended his ability to experience a life in freedom. He's been deemed a threat to society, and now knowing his childhood, it can be determined he really never had a chance to live peacefully in society. One can only hope he finds peace in prison, learns from his mistakes, asks forgiveness from his victims' families, and lives long enough to make parole. This is the reality of being a crash out, and he is a living example of what any teen could be if you're following down a similar path. Now, as sad as Tay-k's case is, it's even sadder what happened to Sarah, Zach, Ethan, Mark. You know what I mean?
That's true because like in life, like the crash out part, right? Sadly, even though you see it, you hear it, like I said, none on this earth is new. You see it all the time. You already know what having a gun can lead to. You know what gangbanging can lead to. You know what robbery can lead to. You know what unliveness party can lead to. You like none of this is new, right? But sadly, it still takes either for something in your life to majorly mature you in your mind for you to 100% know it for a fact and believe it and start moving differently. And then sometimes you learn that as you grow older. And him, you won't that now. You will never get that chance. Some people, like dudes, you know, girls mature faster than dudes, right? So therefore, for dudes, you probably won't mature until like you're in your 20 something. He started making his mistakes at 16. It's over. It's over, especially when you're moving like that reckless. But that you're moving that reckless when you don't have no real guidance. When you go like how some people say, oh, they got put on for a family. That'd be real. For guidance, for family, for some love, for some support, for something to eat, somewhere to stay. Like, that is sad.
When you
though, bro.
hear what happened to them, you
that's
really
truly
lose
sad.
any sympathy for him. This was a 16-year-old who was doomed from the start, that grew up to two gangbanging parents that didn't do shit for him, didn't provide anything for him. And then, you know, They tried to get their shit together. They tried to,
They probably was
testify
two
on his
people who
behalf.
got together on a hood day.
It's done nothing for him. He was failed by his parents.
Facts.
100%. And then he also failed himself.
Facts.
And he's only 24 years old.
Facts. He do gotta hold himself accountable too, because a lot of people who grew up in his same position, predicament, situation, and still didn't make the mistake that he made. So.
And he has all this time. 55
Sad
years
bro.
in one case, 80 years in another case. He's not even 25.
He wouldn't have got that time if he went out there, though.
I'll be honest with
he
you.
would have got way less time if he was out here.
Not a lot of people can sit there and do all that time and live a life knowing that there's not much to look forward to.
Nut.
Prison is a repetitive place where the same thing happens every single day. You're only gonna want to do so many seasons of that shit,
nigga, bruh.
Before you just give up on everything.
I did a short amount of time, bruh. And after 2 or 3 weeks, bruh, I was already frustrated. Because, like, again, it's redundant. You wake up, you go to sleep, it's the same thing. The same fit, the same people, the same thing, the same guards, tell you the same thing, get on your head about the same, like, bro, like, that's people. If you ain't never did no time, I know this might sound dumb, and people have said it before. Go lock yourself in a room and stay there. Like, get rid of everything. Just have the bed. Get rid of everything. The TV. Matter of fact, don't even have a bed. Go get a very, very thin air mattress. Put a little bit of air in it and lay that on the ground, because that's how thin a mattress be in jail. Get rid of everything and stay there for 2 weeks. Have somebody bring your food, tell you when you can and when you can and cannot eat, all that. And that's the slight thing, because you still in your room, in your environment, bruh. Jail is not it. Jail is a waste of time, bro. A waste of time, a waste of life. I can't do it, dog. I will literally go crazy.
There's no woman by your side.
It'll literally be over, bro.
Yeah, you could do the whole writing letters and shit, but that ain't life. We aren't meant to be in prison.
We ain't animals, bro. Even them not even meant to be in cages, bro. That's why they be going crazy too.
The only thing that Tay-k can do for people is be an example of what not to be, and be an example of what's to come if you're living like him. You want to go viral and post guns and show your wanted picture and this and that, and be involved with fucking retarded people that do stupid shit that eventually leads to someone's death.
The sad part about it, nobody's gonna listen. I ain't gonna say nobody, but very few is gonna listen. Because again, like I said, nothing on this earth is new. This is something that people already know. You've seen it thousands of times. And humans continue still to do the same exact thing you just seen somebody else do, and they lost it all. But because it's always that one person, that one group that think that's not gonna be us. We gonna make it. The game. We gonna be the ones that's gonna be able to outlive everybody. Our homies ain't gonna never go to jail. Our homies ain't gonna never get hit. They gonna never pass away. We ain't gonna no funerals, no nothing. We gonna be good. Nigga, stop. It's never gonna happen. And you don't have to be in a gang to be tough. You don't have to be part of a gang to have ops, because you're still gonna have that. Jealousy and envy is very, very real. Very, very real. You can have a girl that somebody can't get. They can be on a bus, you in a car. You got enough money for the bus, they don't got enough money for the bus. It can be the smallest little thing that'll make somebody hate you and want to unalive you. So you don't need the gang part. That's extra enemies and extra places now that you can't go to. Like it's not worth it.
Then you
None
end
of
up
this
like
shit is
that.
worth it, bro.
Or
None
his
of it.
friends that are doing 40 years, 20 years, 15
And
years.
niggas already
All of them
know
got
this. That's the
smoked.
sad part.
Every single person associated with him got smoked. All of them are in prison doing mad time. Even the girls that set up the robbery. So it's like, as sad as it is to say, there are people put on this earth that you have to use as examples as what not to be.
Man,
And
I
Tay-k
did.
is one of
That's
them.
how I move the way I move.
I
Cause I
don't
look
want
at
to
niggas
paint
like,
him
nah,
as
I
a
ain't doing that one.
monster, which is why I wanted to break down his childhood and the things that have caused him to be the way that he is, and maybe he is no longer that way inside of prison. But by the time you end up in there with having to do forever, you really got to be that person in there, because now you're in the most violent society.
Yeah.
That's why you've been excluded from this one, the free one. But hey, let me know y'all thoughts and comments.
Yeah, that's crazy, dog. Like it's one thing when you know, like, I got 15, you count them down. I got 10, I'm counting. Even though that's still a long ass time, I'm counting them down. But knowing you got 80, I wouldn't even count that shit.